In this video we're going to look at statistics in the form of an exam question. This question is 2012 paper 2 question 7. So as you can see from the question here, it gives us a table and it gives data on new private cars sold in Ireland in each quarter of the year from 2006 to 2011. Okay, and it gives us this table full of different values. And the first question asks us to show annual total sales of cars over the 6 years using a suitable chart. So annual total sales are all of these ones. Okay, the charts that we know are stem and leaf, histogram, bar chart, pie chart. For this I would recommend a bar chart because there's no ranges. A pie chart would be difficult and a stem and leaf plot wouldn't work. Okay, so we're going to look at how to start a bar chart. We're going to put our years along the bottom, along the horizontal axis, and then we're going to put our sales along the y-axis. Okay, we're going to figure out our axis first of all. The horizontal one is probably the easiest. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. And just remembering that when we're drawing bar charts, the bars should be the same length as well as the gaps between the bars. And the gaps is what distinguishes between a histogram and a bar chart. Okay, so as we know there's 6 years that we need to, so that would mean that there's 6 bars. I'm going to make each of the bars 3 boxes each, and I'm going to make the gaps 2 boxes each. Okay, so this is going to be the first bar, gap, second bar, gap, third bar, gap, fourth bar, gap, fifth bar, and gap. Okay, so we have our horizontal axis drawn there. Okay, I'm just going to quickly do a couple of markings. There we have it. Right, and that should give us 6 bars. Next up is our horizontal axis. Sorry, our vertical axis. Now as you can see, the sales range from 86,932 to 173,273. So that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up in ones, and those will represent thousands. Okay, so 10,000s. So 1 represents 10,000, 2 represents 20,000, 3 represents 20,000, and for example 17 will represent 170,000. Okay, so we need, that would mean that we need at least 17 boxes. I'm going to take my pencil there and I'm going to mark in each of the values. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, just be really clear and label your axis. Okay, so in this one it's annual sales and it's 10,000s. Okay, then we're going to draw our bars. So now as you can see, we have our bar chart complete. There is equal spaces between each bar and all of the bars are the same size, and we've labelled our both horizontal and vertical axis. The second part of this question asks us to find the mean number of cars sold per year. Now the way that we do that is we add up all of the number of cars, so 173,273. You can see we've added up all of the total annual sales, and then we're going to divide by the number of years, which is 6. When we do that, we should get an answer of 121128, and that is Europe. Part 3 of this question asks us to find the percentage increase in annual car sales between 2009 and 2011. So our percentage increase formula is increase over the original amount. So we need to first of all find what the increase is, and we do that by looking at the figure for 2009 and 2011. So for 2009 and 11 it is 86,000 and 54,000. Okay, so we're going to take the 54,432 away from 86,932. And that will give us the increase, and we're going to put that over the original amount, which is the 2009 value. And multiplying our answer by 100 because it's asking us for a percentage. Okay, and that will give us 59.71%. So in this next part, part 4, Aoife says that the increase shows car sales are currently going well. Paul says the car sales are currently going badly. He says that they have fallen by 52% since 2007 and that they are well below average. So what they're asking is to complete the sentences below to give a criticism of each argument. So as you can see, Aoife is correct in saying that the increase it is a big increase, but if we look at the previous years like 2006, it doesn't recognise that in 2006 the total sales were actually 173,273. Now as you can see, that's almost double. It's actually more than double the 2011 values. Okay, Paul's argument on the other side does not recognise that this is actually an increase from 2009, which was a very poor year. It was the lowest year and it doesn't take that into account. And a 60% increase in any shout is a good one. So just to give a more balanced description of the pattern of car sales over the 6 years, we can say that from 2006 car sales spiked. 2007 they increased slightly again. They began to drop in 2008. In 2009 they hit an all-time low. And then in 2010 and 2011 we start seeing sales begin to increase again. So the next question, part B, part 1, it says describe how the sales of the cars are distributed over the 4 quarters of each year. So in our original question, as you can see, we'll just take 2006 for an example. The majority of the cars were bought from January to March, and the numbers lessened as the year went on. And that is the same pattern for each of the 6 years. So from January to March, that notes the highest sales, and then as the year goes on, the sales decrease. So I've just written there that more cars are sold at the beginning of the year, and a reason for this pattern is probably because most people want a new car at the beginning of the year for the new number on the number plate. So this last question I've just written for part 2, that most people like to buy their car at the beginning of the year for the new number plate. For a lot of these written questions, a lot of the times you're just describing the graphs or interpreting the data that they've given us. So don't overthink them, just write down the first thing that comes to your head. It's generally just trying to make sense of the graphs or the data or whatever might be in the question. Okay, so it says here in this question, the sales for the first quarter of 2012 are 36,081. Find with justification an estimate for the total sales for 2012. So here, with justification means you can't just write down a number, you have to actually provide some basis for it. So we're going to go back to our original table, and as you can see, so the first quarter here of 2011, they sold approximately 40,000 cars. That's out of 87,000. Okay, that's approximately a third. The same goes for this year, approximately a third, and the same for each of the subsequent years. Okay, so we're saying here that the first quarter, approximately 1/3 of the cars are sold. So if 36,081 is equal to a third, if we multiply this by 3, we'll find the total sales for 2012 as an estimate. This will give an annual total sales of approximately 108,000.